blessing, right? But it's what we are. It's what the business we're in. So just be mindful. I see stuff on there all the time. I'm like, ooh, don't know if I'd have said that. But anyway, so a couple things. Zach Davidson and I are going to start starting in May. We haven't nailed down the date yet. We got to get with Cecilia. We are going to start on a Wednesday night, once a month. We're going to do a first-time homebuyers class in this room. It is for anybody that wants to come, any of your buyers that want to come.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
When are you doing that?
We're trying to do the first or second Wednesday of every month.
You're smart.
So I'm going to do a Facebook ad, pop it out. Hopefully there's buyers in here that are unrepresented. But feel free. We'll get everything out on the Facebook page, on the Keller page. Once we nail down
Have you seen the
that
PowerPoint?
What's that?
I have a PowerPoint you can use.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have that. We'll have a home buyer handbook. And it'll be pretty light, you know, maybe an hour, 20 minutes or so with questions and answers. I'll talk to Zach. We're trying to bring maybe some pizza in. I'll see if he'll open his pocketbook and go have some with me. The other thing, this time of the year, you're seeing a lot of buyers that are relocating. You know, school year's about to come to an end. Teachers are changing school districts. One of the things that we can do on a conventional loan, if you have a borrower that's moving here, but they want to buy the house before they start their job, as long as they have an offer letter, and it's with, you know, I say reputable company, but a bigger company. If it's a mom and pop shop, sometimes that's a little bit harder, but if it's Emory, Fulton County Schools, Coke, Delta, a bigger company, a lot of times we can go off that offer letter and close their loan before they start their job. And then we get a pay stub after closing, so they have to send the pay stub in. But this is the time of the year we usually see that a little more often. So if you have that situation come up, there's a lot of lenders that won't do it. They'll make you get a 30-day pay stub. So we can do that and certainly help them out and get them into a house before they start the job. Question? All right.
Cool. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so just a few things that are coming up in the Market Center. It's on. There we go. So the first one, disc training. We're going to hear from Stacy here shortly. A little bit more about the disc. Which one did you hit? There we go. Okay, thank you. So she is going to be teaching another class on this on April 27th. It's a Thursday from 11 to 1. So go ahead and save the date for that and mark your calendar.
Don't miss that. You're going to get a taste of this today. I personally believe this is the most important thing in the real estate business. It's the psychology behind human behavior and how to adapt your behavior to lead generate and sustain a happy business. Because how many of you are freaked out about lead generation? Right? I mean, seriously, I know there's somebody in the room that is.
Yeah.
There you go. So when you know, like, what is my behavior profile and how can I cater that to a lead gen that suits me, that's sustainable. And then the second thing you'll learn in here is how do I adapt my style to suit someone else's needs. So don't miss that. Write that down. April 27th, 11 to 1.
Okay. And it's here in this, the main training room. Then the next one's a career night, last Thursday of every month. The next one's April 27th, same day as Stacy. Later that evening from 6:30 until 8 o'clock.
Only come to that if you like passive income.
All right, and then you have probably seen an email or two go out. Celia, I know, emailed about T-shirts for Red Day, and then our culture committee they've also sent out emails as far as who would like to participate in Red Day. So go ahead and save that date. This is Mo Anderson. Her birth date is every year the same day. So this year it's Thursday, May 11th. So, and we will send more information about what our project is.
Do you know the timing?
You know, actually, I'll have to find out. There's
Paula
Kellum.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to her, but she's the one who's organizing it from our culture
It's
committee.
midday. I
Yeah.
would block on your calendar 10 to 2 if you want to participate. And right now we're organizing something with Aiden. What's Aiden's last name? Anderson?
Anderson, yeah.
Yeah, Aiden Anderson, which is the kid that's 15 that plays music and gives back. He gives all of his money away to charity. He's got some sort of project down in the inner cities. We're going to do probably like a Mother's Day lunch with the kids and provide lunch and clothes and donations and things like that. they're having a meeting right after this meeting, and then we'll have that announcement hopefully later this week or first of next week, so.
And then we've had this on there, for quite some time, so hopefully you've saved this date. This is, the Mega Assistant Workshop that we're gonna be having, on June 20th, and that's from 9 to 1:30. So you'll be able to register, we'll send links out for that. And then.
That, just so you know too, that class is for everybody. If you're in the real estate business and you're interested in learning how to create checklists, or how to hire an assistant, or what your assistant should be doing, it pertains to everyone, don't miss it. The lady that's teaching the class literally makes over $1 million a year, and Michael Bunch recommended the class. He took it in June or July of last year, and he said it's the best class he's ever taken in Keller Williams. So.
Then today, those in Ignite, we have a class right after this from 1:30 to 3 o'clock, Find and Show Homes. And then tomorrow, definitely, sorry, Fiona?
Sorry, it changed.
It changed, okay.
It's got contracts today with Lynn and with Renee, who you just saw talk.
Okay.
And, all are welcome. Obviously, Ignite have to be in there.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. Any other changes this week for Ignite? No? Okay. Then tomorrow, listing presentation workshop with Scott Einfeld. That's from 10:30 to 11:30 here in the main training room. Highly encourage y'all to come to that. And then reminder for ALC members that you have a meeting tomorrow from 12 to 1:30. And then Friday, it's Good Friday, so the staff will not be here, but it's still open to you, the office. Okay.
Hey, how many of you have a desire to be on the Agent Leadership Council, or a desire to be a leader at all? Okay. The ALC meeting, just so you know, is open to everyone. If you're not on the ALC, you're not an agent leader in the office, then you don't have the opportunity to participate in the discussion. Hey, come and witness it. Sit in. You're welcome. It's an open meeting. So what they do is they vote on important issues that are pertain to the entire office, and make high-minded decisions about what are we teaching, what is our culture, what are we doing to protect property here, you know, and it's a great discussion. It's a great chance to be around the rest of the best. So.
Okay. Thank you. And then again, congratulations to our cappers this month. And we announced these last week. We do have our updated numbers from last month as far as top agents from last month. So the number one for gross commission income was Joel Roberts. Let's take a look at that number. That was last month. GCI.
He's slacking.
Just slacking a little. Closed units, again, Joel, 25 units. I think he needs a pat on the back. Closed volume, this is his closed volume for March. Written units, 13 units. Written volume, 16 million.
Yay!
Dominic, 14 units
Stuck in
listed.
there. Good job.
Saw him earlier.
Yeah.
And then number one for listed volume, again, Joel.
I'm
So you see
equally
him.
excited for Joel, but it's just, you know, when he wins 5 of the 6.
Yeah, that was, so if you wanna send him an email, tell him congratulations, and along with Dominic, please do that. Okay. Y'all have any questions about upcoming events or, anything else? Alright, well, you wanna get to Tom?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Tom Bunch?
Tom sponsored our lunch today and is one of our preferred vendors.
I want to stand in the middle because sometimes I have trouble hearing. I want to thank y'all. Last year we did 1.2 million. We were up from, on 2015, we did 900,000. And our goal for this year is 1.5 million. Y'all have done a great job helping us grow. We're hoping to grow about 300,000 this year. I really appreciate it. To help us with this growth, we hired another office person. Her name is Lucia. She is a Brazilian, been in the U.S. for 30 years, speaks Portuguese, Spanish, and English. A lot of y'all have already talked to Rachel. Rachel speaks Korean. She taught English and Korean for 2 years, and French. She went to a university in Paris. Sometimes not being able to get a job in the U.S. helps you a little bit. So we speak 5 languages in the office. So if you have clients that are here from somewhere else, we had a young man who was having trouble with English, and we found out he was from Korea. I said, oh, problem solved. We have a, technical school student who's never worked in the field. He's been with us 2 weeks while he's finishing up, this quarter of technical school. Be working with us this summer, learning how to install. He'll go to an installation truck in September. And then I have an installer who came to work with us. He's been an installer for a year, and he wasn't progressing where he was. He needed, to get his EPA license, which he's gonna take his test at the end of the month. He's gonna start technical school in the fall, and, he'll probably be taking a first truck for this summer. Y'all have little packets, and they have pens and notepads and everything, and on the pens, you open one end of the pen, it's a, flathead and Phillips head screwdriver. You just turn it over, in case you get to the house and the doorknob's loose, you can tighten the doorknob before you have your open house. And if your client wants to know, will that washer dryer fit in that little stackable area, there's a tape measure, so that y'all can tell them if the refrigerator fits or if the washer dryer fits.
I used the screwdriver in the office last week, so thank you.
Well, I'm glad, I appreciate that.
Now I've got one for my,
Okay, and, for y'all that's never used this, 80% of our service calls run less than $200. 90% of our service calls run less than $500. In those occasions when people need to replace their equipment, it's 20 years old, and you need to do it for the sale of the house, the buyer will save 40% on their energy bill, helps them qualify for more house. So, there's a good point to the sellers replacing the equipment. It makes the buyers able to qualify for more, because they look at that, energy bill. That's it for me.
Tom's amazing, you guys. If you haven't given him a shot, please do. He does my personal loan, and
Thank you.
I've been so impressed with just his affiliation with the office. And does anybody else used Tom before? Great, Ron.
Great, wouldn't make any other choice.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
There you go.
Wait,
Okay, listen, your success blesses others, right? You say that all the time. Listen, here's why. How do you know when someone needs encouragement? They're breathing, right? So everyone needs to hear something good. So let's just take 5 minutes or so, share with us some victories. If you've got a cheers for peers, somebody's done something great in the office, or you've got a great story, a success, victory, tell us and let us celebrate with you, and hopefully that'll encourage everyone. So anybody have anything? Great. Stand up, tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Sabine, I'm Paul.
You are. Good.
So I have a listing, and I had a great open house, tons of people showed up, and we went on the contract like the next day. And it was great, and it's an older home, it's in town, hit, built 1950 bungalow, right? So of course an older home has issues, but my client, we did our due diligence and we got inspections done and knew everything about the house and gave good disclosure and took care of the property. And then the young lady who's on the contract, she had her own inspection, and you know, inspectors are inspectors, and then, you know, professional foundation people, and those are specialty people. So there was two difference between our inspection saying that everything is sound, and the other guy saying, no, we need to work on this. So it gave the young lady cold feet. And so at the open house, the person that presented this woman that came with her was a showing assistant, but I never saw the agent. And so the agent is now calling and saying, hey Sabine, we have addressed concerns, so we addressed some concerns, and I felt that he wasn't really communicating what he knew about the house because he wasn't at the house. And so I felt that there was like miscommunication, and we're on the last day of due diligence, we got 3 hours to go, and they're sounding like they wanna back out because they're not sure what to do. And so in just thinking outside the box, I had my client send an email, because the young lady sent a letter and a picture of her dog and said, please pick my offer. So she started the warm energy of, you know, we really love the house, and Dr. Pepper, he wants to live in the backyard. And so I said, let's keep that going, because something happened that she chose her. So there's this unspoken, two people never met each other, but there's this rapport. And then she thanked her for loving the house and gave her the offer.
That's great.
Right? And so I said, we're gonna use this letter love affair thing again. Because this guy in the middle isn't representing what we're trying to communicate, and she's unsure what to do. So we sent a letter, and of course our supporting documents of the inspections that we did, whatever, and so my client wrote this amazing email explaining, I understand I was a young woman buying a home too and I was nervous, but here's what I do know, and I'm gonna make sure that you feel boom, signed. And we got out of this a crazy 2-hour window where it was lost because the listing agent, the buyer's agent was trying to communicate for us when we can just do it ourselves. There's nothing wrong with writing a letter. Not to take away from us, but if you have a client who's eager to sell their home, maybe you can't deliver that in a way, if you see that the agent you're talking to can't deliver that to their client, and you could lose the deal when you can just write a letter and then it's her, that person who's buying the property and that letter, and then it just needs to happen. So that was a win. And there were other wins. It was a great week, but it's not about me.
I think, the other thing on that too, Sabine, your
Yeah.
reputation matters, and I think it matters short term in an offer situation like that. But I bet you that agent on the other end did the same thing in her office, at her business meeting, And you tell stories like that, and they're like, who's the agent? Oh, it was Sabine, with Kel Williams, he's a great agent. So your reputation matters, right? And, the flip side of that is, you're a jerk, you hang up on somebody, they do the same thing. Don't ever use this agent. You're not gonna believe what they did. And they're probably more likely to share that story, the
Right.
negative story, than they are the positive story. So just be aware, because, you could get in a situation where it's a multiple offer and they choose you based on your reputation, or they don't based on your reputation. What else? I'm not telling you anything you don't know, it's just good to continually talk about it,
I have two, but I'll be quick. First, I had a listing for $700,000, which was very challenging because it was on the Lower Roswell, right on the street, and no one thought that I could actually sell it for the price that I had put it. And everybody was saying to bring the price down. And the sellers wanted to go higher, and they wouldn't budge. But anyway, so we put it under contract, and the buyer, the agent wouldn't have time. They didn't have time to show the buyers one more time the house, so the agent called me and said, "Can you show my buyer the house because I'm not around?" And I said, "Sure." So I showed her buyer the house, and the buyer literally, she could not stop talking to me, and she said, "I want you to represent me." I said, "Nope, that's not gonna happen." So the agent calls me 3 days later and says she won't sign any papers that I sent her, she won't return my calls. I need you guys to send all the information that needs to be signed. So we had to do whatever the buyer's agent's job was, we had to do it because the buyer would not sign anything that she would have. And I hated doing that because it was her job, and I felt, this is not ethical. I didn't want it to have anything to do with the other buyer. But at the end of the day, at the closing table, she came with the buyer's agent, and she still didn't want to have anything to do with the buyer's agent. She called me up afterwards, and she said, "My mom is looking for a house, and I don't want to have anything to do with my agent, but I want you to be our agent." And it went smooth, and it went perfect, thank God. We sold it, that was last week. And I had an aha moment with John. I went to his office, we had a 10-minute conversation, and I can't believe it was only 10 minutes, but I walked out, I'm like, that was 10 minutes, I came out and then I did what he had told me. He said, "What is your biggest challenge?" I said, "Finishing MRA book, it's so thick." And he laughed, he said, "Okay, read this page to this page." And I started reading it, it's only 50 pages. But you guys, it made such an impact on me. I was so bored reading throughout the book and just reading, and then when he said it, I started highlighting. I'm like, oh my God, I needed this right now. So I encourage it, if you remember, 119 to...
Yeah, so the story is, if you've read 119 to 172, in that first section, there's a story about Warren Buffett. You know who Warren Buffett is? Yeah. Who is he? Who is he?
Richest man in the business.
The richest man in the world. And arguably the greatest investor ever, right? Did you know, before he ever made his first investment, he had one requirement. He had to read a book called Security Analysis 12 times before he would allow himself to invest in whatever. Well, he did it. So 119 to 172 is the meat of the MREA book. It's the Earn a Million section. For most of us, that's where we are. What I would do if I was you, what I shared with Shiva, is take that section and dissect it 12 times in 12 weeks. Every time you read it, take a different color pen or a different color highlighter So you'll know that when you read that this time, this is what you read differently for the first time. And then implement, take action, take one thing every week and say, okay, I'm doing this, right? Manette.
And I was gonna say too, just like a lot of things, put it on your calendar that this is gonna be your reading time, whatever book it is, if it's
Time block it.
MREA, time block it.
Time block it. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Nanette. What else? Yes, Janice.
So, thanks to Clark Davy.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Janice Lewis. Today, well, I think I'm the evil twin today, because I've got straight hair today, so I'm not sure what my name's gonna be. No, so thanks to Clark Davy, who brought in Tiffany Fikes last Friday. She started off with an amazing mindset piece that just really delved in, and, who was there? Yeah. She just went deep. She caused people's my brain, get so big, and it was all because of Clark Davy, because he said, oh my gosh, we
Cheers
got
and
to
cheers.
get her here.
Y'all do me a favor, those of you especially that were here and it resonated with you, send Clark a text or an email and just thank him. Because I know, I've heard a lot of people say it was special. By the way, if you didn't catch it live, it's recorded on our YouTube channel, just like we record everything. So if you're ever in this room, you might be being recorded, just know that, okay? Well, it's YouTube and it's KW First Atlanta Video, so you can go back and watch it anytime.
And John, if they subscribe to it, anytime we're recording, you'll get a notification. to your
Fantastic.
email, so.
Great. Shadi and then FJ.
Hey, I'm Shadi. I just closed on, that was my third closing, and, it was the first house that I showed to the buyer, and then we closed on it. It was a relocation company, and it was challenging, but everything was, great. I just wanna share that it was March 31st, and I had 2 referrals from the same buyer from March 31st till now.
Sweet. Great job. Great job. FJ?
Hey, I'm Fiona Jane, FJ, and, I wanted to thank Mr. Schulte, William, for Monday, guiding an agent from here to here on a purchase and sale agreement. I was dealing with something rather nasty, at my desk, and, he just swooped her, put her in a chair, and just went through it all, and, it was very kind of you, so.
Bill, I want to echo that too, man. You're amazing. I just love being in business with you. Thank you. Yeah. What else? Okay, I got a few. Well, I got 2 people I really want to thank, actually. I want to thank Lakeisha Knight for constantly being a magnet for talented real estate agents. You represent us so well out in the field. And I can tell you, at least once a week, Lakeisha goes, hey, I got this amazing agent, you ought to call them. And sure enough, we just added one of the best agents in the industry, Erica Mitchell, just joined our team. Thanks to Lakeisha. And just so you know, here's the benefit. First of all, Erica's amazing, so you want to meet her. Second of all, she just added $6 million in market share to our office, which obviously benefits the whole. So great job. Great. Welcome and welcome. Where are my new agents that are new to the office that haven't been introduced? Carlos, Colin, and anybody else? Y'all want to stand up and introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Carlos Barro. I'm a new agent. My background is in aviation maintenance. I work for Delta Airlines as an aircraft mechanic, and I've been with them for about 16 years, since 2001. But as an aircraft mechanic, I'm pretty much, I've reached my limit. So I just want to try something new and try to make $1 million at some point in my life.
Great. How did you find us? I know you came to Career Night, but how did you find out about Career Night?
I believe it was at Indeed.com, and Celia sent me an email.
Great. So Carlos was already with another office. He heard about our Career Night, showed up at Career Night, and ended up making a change. Why do I tell that story? Again, if you like passive income, invite your friends to come to Career Night. It's a great opportunity. We do Career Night for you to make money. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, super impressed with you. Colin.
Hey guys, how are you? I'm Colin Arcangeli. Been with the office about a week now, not even. Prior to this, I was in hospitality. I've been a chef for about the last 12 years, working in a number of upscale hotels and resorts. But I joined to kind of make a change for myself and my family. As funny as this may sound to some of you, I'm hoping to get a little more work-life balance in this industry than where I was previously.
I believe that. The restaurant.
I'm very excited to be here, and I've had a wonderful experience so far with all of you. You've been very kind and welcoming. And actually, Greg, who just had to step out, is one of my very close childhood friends, and he kind of, has helped guide me through this transition and kind of get me into this particular office. Spoke very highly about everything that you guys are doing, both personally and professionally. So thank you both to him and for you all for creating that culture for someone like me to want to come and join.
Brilliant. Welcome. Colin, welcome. Anybody else? Well, maybe call you out if you haven't been introduced. I will. Be thinking about it. Let's see, what else was I going to say? Oh, question pertaining to what Shiva said earlier. Who should write up the offer?
The best agent.
The smartest agent. The smartest agent. Now, how many of you believe you're the smartest agent? Okay. You should be writing the offer. Get the terms from the other agent and write it up. Save yourself the hassle. It gives you control. You can, just send me your offer an email. I'll document it. Smartest agent should be writing the offer. That gives you a lot of control. Yeah.
A smart Keller Williams agent wrote an offer to me, and in the special stipulations they wrote it. And in the event that the due diligence date ends on the weekend, we all agree that it extends to the next business day. I was like, ooh, she's good.
We're gonna do.
Copy paste. I was like, ooh.
We're gonna do a business meeting in the next month. And I'm going to invite all the top agents to come. The criteria is going to be you have to have done more than 50 transactions in your career. And they're going to give us their best contract tips. And then, and what we'll do is we'll have Lynn here. We'll probably have the attorneys here. And we'll just it'll be a great event. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be a good.
Well, and that extends to the work-life balance, because I know that there's a lot of people, I think, Heather, I'm calling you out, but I remember you and John talking one day, like certain things don't happen after a certain time of night, so you don't have to worry about something happening while you're trying to sleep, and so I think that goes along with work-life balance that you're talking about, so you can allow it to control or you can put boundaries.
May I give you some things that you can use in your business here? Okay, so one of the cool things about you is you're #1 in Atlanta. Isn't that great? Yeah. Did you know, this is pretty cool, there are 1,389 offices that want to be you. You're #1. Now, if you're looking at this going, no, John, that actually says we're #2. It's not true. Non-FMLS is anybody that's not affiliated with FMLS. So if they're not a member, let's say they live in Savannah, but they drive to Atlanta because they're licensed in Georgia, and they sell something that's in FMLS, all of those people across the state are grouped into one category. So what we're comparing is individual offices. So far, year to date through March, you've sold $215,529,109 worth of real estate. Boom. Congratulations. I really thought that y'all might be more excited about it. Yeah.
You guys, I got very exciting news last week, and I did it right before my trip that 2 of my contracts terminated. It was bad news before I went on vacation, but I found out that I'm capping with one more closing, and my anniversary is in February, so I'm very excited.
This is pretty cool. So look at this. You'll notice that there's region on the far left, market center, OP, team leader, city, state, associate count, recruiting year to date, and then profits. The way they rank us far right is total profit ranking. Look at #4. That is #4 in the world. I just want you to know that. We don't talk about this enough, and it feels like we're bragging, but what I want you to get is like, you're with the best of the best. Like, we're ahead of Dubai. What you have, this is cool. Like, Keller Williams is an open book company, so you have access to this in a report, and I can send it out. But you can go online and you can see the expenses of other offices. You can see the gross commission of every agent inside KW. You can see how much profit share they make. Go to the report section of the My KW page and just explore. Be an explorer. Because you'll find information that'll benefit you personally in your business. And for those of us that are super competitive, I look at this about 3 or 4 times a day. And it only changes once a day.
Could you share it with us, John?
Yes, I can email it out, and I encourage you to be an explorer. Look at this. I love this. Hold on, somebody showed me a cool trick the other day. Yes, look at that. Fantastic. All right, so more closed volume. In March 2017, the amount of closed volume, Keller Williams First Atlanta, who? You, right? Sold, First Atlanta, sorry, Keller Williams First Atlanta sold increased 25% from the month prior. The local market experienced only a 7% increase in closed volume. So 18% difference for you outpacing the market. Could you share that with the people you know? Of course. You think that'll help you? I would scream that from the rooftop. And by the way, some of you got a call yesterday. So what I would do is send something like this out to the people you know, and then follow up with what? Hey, I sent you an email. I just wanted to call and make sure you got it. Sent you an item of value. I'm just checking in with you. How are you doing? By the way, I just want to let you know our office is kicking butt. And, just thought you might like to know. We're excited, But, just anything like that gives you a reason to call. So you might not be as afraid to call if you send something like that. And then the other one that I'll show you, same thing on closed units. So either or both. 2 different stories. Is that good?
Yes.
And then one more thing, and then I'm going to turn this over to Stacy. How many of you have done the CGI? What is CGI? Career Growth Initiative. Different from GCI, which is Gross Commission Income. Career Growth Initiative, what's the point? Okay, write this down. Everybody get a piece of paper and write this down. Keller Williams has 3 goals when it pertains to you and your business. Tell me when you're ready. All right, 2 of you are. There are 3 goals Keller Williams has as it pertains to you and your business. Number 1, their goal is to be the largest real estate company in the world. Check. They reached that goal about 2.5 years ago. Number 2, their goal is to be the most productive real estate company in the world. They anticipate that they'll be able to announce at MegaCamp that they've achieved that goal, meaning their agents are more productive than any other company in the world. Their 3rd goal is to have at least 10% of our agents be millionaires. You like that? Somebody liked it over here. Tom liked it. Thank you, Tom. I'm going to sign you up, man. Let's get you retired from the HVAC and get you in here. I love it. So I like that. I mean, that appeals to me. I mean, just the fact that they're thinking about us and growing our businesses and helping us create passive income. So the Career Growth Initiative was the initiative that basically launched the productivity goal. How many of you know your economic model? Raise your hand. High. Raise your hand high. Keep it up in the air. Okay, look around the room. Put your hand up if you know your economic model. Don't be shy. This is not a chance to be shy or modest. There are 3 people that put their hand up. Tom, Stacy, and Heather. Thank you. Your economic model is critical, you guys. If I set a goal to be a millionaire and I don't know how many appointments I need this week, you think I'm going to hit my goal? I read a book this week called Executive Toughness, and this is what the guy proved based on the science of our brains. If you write down your goals, you are 9 times more likely to hit it. Now, if I don't know my goal, you think I'm going to hit it? Okay, and I'm not beating you up. I'm giving you tough love to say, guys, you're a business owner. Like, this is important. So the Career Growth Initiative is basically the first step is a financial calculator. Let me show you how to get to it, just so you know. You go to Education, you go to KW Connect. You go to Growth, and here's the CGI. And when you click on that, here it is. And you scroll down, here's the calculator, which you can do. When I click on the calculator, this is not a class, by the way. I'm not showing you how to do it. I just want to show you where it is. I go to set my goal. And over here, if my goal is to make $200,000, I include taxes. I include my royalty, my cap, monthly expenses, commission, average home price, what percentage of listings I want to take, and my conversion rates, and I click submit. Once I click submit, I come to the bottom. Here is the only thing I need to focus on for the month. I need to make 4 listing appointments every month. Now, what is that? My economic model. How many appointments do I need? 4. If I go on 4, I need to take 3 new listings every month. And if I take 3 listings, I need 3 closings every month if I want to hit my goal. Make sense? Now, is it easier to say I'm going to go make $200,000 this year, or I'm going to go take 4 listing appointments this month? Answer that. Does anybody disagree with the 4 listings a month sounds easier than $200,000? Well, if you don't know 4 listing appointments, isn't it overwhelming? So stop being overwhelmed. All you have to do is set your economic model using the CGI calculator. Then, once you set your economic model, there's like 8 or 9 other tools, including the templates that I just showed you. This is a Career Growth Initiative tool. It's already done. All you have to do is plug in the numbers. I'm up 25%, the market's up 7%. Got a little funky in here. And I'm okay with that. I'm just telling you the reason why it gets funky is you go, man, that's one more thing I gotta do. Think of it this way. There's a sales side of your business, which is lead generation, working in the business. And then there's the admin side of your business, which would be working on your business. Do one thing a week. And at the end of the year, you've done 52 things for the infrastructure of your business. Does that make sense? It's easy. In 3 years, you're making $400,000 or $500,000 a year, and you're like, man, this is awesome. This is great. All right, that's it. There y'all are. All right, listen, let's turn it over to Stacy. Guys, I'm so excited. In December of this year, we launched a productivity coaching program, and the idea was any new agent needed individual, personalized coaching with a certified, amazing coach. And we found Stacy Schuler-Cannon, who has taken this program and really just created an entire model that I believe everybody in the country is going to be using in the next probably year. Currently, she has about, is it 17? 21 people in her program. And I'm going to let her tell you about the results that she's getting. But it is rocking our productivity, and our new agents are dominating because of it. So let's welcome Stacy. Come on up, Stacy, and tell us about it.
Yeah, no pressure. Everybody in the country is going to be using this model next year.
You know that's true.
All right. Well, so I have 2 things to talk with you guys about. One of them is the productivity coaching program, and we'll do just a quick conversation around that. So John and I were talking a year ago now, John, right? John's not listening.
Yes,
Last spring.
a year
So we
ago.
had a conversation a year ago about where he wanted to take some different opportunities in this particular market center, and he knew that my long-term goal was to coach and train full-time. I still have a team that's here that's in production, and I'm still involved in that, but this is the path that I've wanted to follow all along. So we started brainstorming what it would look like, really, really highly customized individual coaching for agents who are ultimately under $1 million in sales volume in the last year. So it's launch coaching. And it's a way to actually work with somebody one-on-one to evaluate your DISC personality profile, which is what we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, your skill set, your previous professional and personal experience, who you are and what you want to achieve in this business, and then help you design a plan to get there. And then the step after that is actually holding you accountable to the plan. So as John said, we launched the program in December. Right now I've got 21 people in the program because we built this as a beta test to make sure that we had the model correct before we expanded. Those guys in the last 60 days are averaging 3.2 contracts or listings per person.
Say it again.
3.2 listings or contracts per person. Or it's listings or buyers per person. We just went through the numbers this morning. In the last 60 days. Everybody in this program is a new agent who's under $1 million in volume in the last year, and in some cases, one person who came in my program literally showed up at the first group session the day after he signed his license into the office. He's already in production too. He started with us in January. So we feel like the program is working. We're growing it. We're hiring additional coaches for the program that will work under my system and the structure that we've actually built, and the intention is to be able to offer this to everybody in the office who's at the launch level. And I want to be clear about that, because once you're a sustainable capper, meaning that you can cap every year, you should be in MAPS coaching, not in my program. Ours is very highly targeted to getting agents off the ground quickly, and that's what we're after for you. So the quick capsule of the program, and we've got a handout that explains more information. I think Bailey has those. So if you want more information, you can grab one of those on the way out the door. Certainly talk to me about it. But the quick capsule of it is that you have weekly individual coaching sessions with your coach every single week, same day and time, during which time you will start with what are your goals, what are your natural lead generation models that will get you to success quickly, what's the business plan look like. We're going to use the CGI and other tools to track what the activities are, and then every single week you submit a report to your coach for the activities that you've done, so that you're able to evaluate success and actually look at what's working and what's not. In addition to the individual coaching sessions, there are 2 group sessions every single month that, regardless of who your coach is, I teach those. So those programs happen twice a month. And then we also help you develop an education plan. So if you come into the program saying, I don't know anything about contracts, I'm scared, great. We're gonna find classes that are out there for our office, at the board, wherever else, to help you fill in those gaps so that you're confident moving forward. The whole program is really predicated on the concept that you just chose an entrepreneurial business. That means that you can build this business a million different ways. Can we agree you can pretty much find real estate business anywhere?
Yes.
Right? One of the things we really wanted to address is, as new agents, and I heard this when I started 6 years ago, call expireds, call your sphere, and what? Post open houses. That's kind of the message from the industry writ large. So there's a million other ways to do this stuff. So this program is designed to help you identify, okay, if you're a high DISC profile, what are the lead gen models that are gonna be fun? What's gonna add to your energy? This program, at least as I perceived it from the outset, is really, truly, I want you getting out of bed in the morning going, I get to do this today. Not, oh God, I have to do this today.
Love it.
Right?
Yes.
That's the reality. You're in a business where you have that power, so we built a coaching program to get you there. That's what productivity coaching is. So if anybody's got other questions, like I said, Bailey's got a handout with more specifics of the program, and I'll be happy to talk to folks afterwards. So that's my sales pitch for the day. Now we're gonna talk about the DISC profile itself, and this is really truly meant to just be a taste of this, because there's not a lot I can do in 20 minutes. However, like they said, on Thursday, April 27, I'm teaching a 2-hour-long version of the class in this room. I view it as a lunch and learn. You're welcome to bring food, just don't throw it at me. That's all I ask.
And it'll be recorded.
And it'll be recorded. So, the DISC profile, as John said, is a really, really powerful tool for us in this business where we can make anything happen, right? How many people know their DISC profile? About half the room. That's pretty good. Our numbers are increasing every day, which makes me happy. New agents who come into the office over the course of the last month should have had the opportunity to take a DISC profile, send that to me, and have a DISC validation, and I owe you a message. I know that. I recognize your name when John introduced you. We'll take care of that today. So we're doing that for new agents, but I'm happy to talk to anybody else in the office who has questions about the DISC profile. We're gonna start teaching this class at least every other month, if not once a month. And we're gonna do some variations on the theme too, because the reality is this is a really, really big conversation. How many of you actually read the, 70 some odd page report when you did your Able Study? Much smaller percentage of people, right? My high-D self, not so much. I read the first 3 pages. So there's a lot to this conversation. What I want to communicate today is how powerful this tool is. So here's the reality with the DISC. It's not the only way to measure personality. It's a really good, concrete, reliable, valid method that gives you power into understanding what you're good at so you can build that business that plays to your strengths. It helps you understand other people you're talking to, which means you're more likely to be successful with your clients or with other agents, other people in the office, people you're gonna hire, all of the above. It's a tool that gives you the power to do those things. So let's do this quick. What do you know about the DISC? If I say you have a high D personality profile, what does that mean? I heard dominant. What else? Driven, direct, decisive,
Goal-oriented, right?
goal-oriented in a bottom line way. Yeah. Short and sweet. High Ds are the people who talk, think, walk, act, react in bullet points. That's the best way to conceptualize that. So if your first score on your DISC profile is a D, that's the highest. That's what we would say that you lead with, which means you're likely to demonstrate those behaviors. Let's translate that into working with other people though. What does it mean if you encounter somebody else who's a high D? How do you know that? Because they act just alike. Says one of my high D coaching clients. So let's talk about this first. So high D is direct, decisive, bottom line, results driven, determined, dominant, all of those things. How do I know if I'm gonna sit with Carlos that he's a high D? How do I know that?
If you say too much, they'll say, we just get to the point.
Yeah, that's a pretty big clue with a high D. Just get to the point. Or even the body language. You're talking and they're standing there going.
They'll finish your sentences.
Oh, they'll finish your sentences just to speed you up. What else might tip you off that you're dealing with a high D?
The way they dress.
Tell me some more about that.
I know with women, they wear high heel shoes at all times. Uniform.
Colorful.
Wearing uniform. I took your class though.
Yeah, you did. I was gonna say, I recognize your face. Yeah. High D women a lot of times will wear high heels. It's a power thing.
Mostly.
For sure.
Yeah. Go to the closet. Light colors, same light.
So high Ds, you're right. In any of the personalities, you can use 2 things to guess who you're talking to. Okay? I want to give you all some tools that you can walk out of here today and the next person you encounter say, oh, I'm going to guess that Celia is blank because. Right? I want you to have those tools, and then I'm going to give you a couple of references for how to communicate with them that'll make you more successful. And then if you want to learn more, come see me in 2 weeks. Fair enough? Yeah. So your high D. Communication, they think, talk, walk, act, react in bullet points. So the communication will tip you off. It's very direct. It can be very loud. Yeah, I know, as I talk loudly, right? The clothing, though, what would you see with a high D? A couple folks in here have been in some of these classes. So I heard a lot of black, tends to be, or other solid colors.
Their decision needs to be made, just put it on, walk out the door.
Yep. So one of 2 things will happen with high Ds with the clothing. You're either going to get very sharp straight lines, blocks of color, very to the point power outfit. Or you're going to get people like Gary Keller who wears the same thing every single day because he doesn't want to think about it. It's not relevant. High Ds will go one of 2 directions. Good friend of mine who is a high D wears the most atrocious clothing I have ever seen on a woman. They don't suit her well, they don't look good on her, but she wears the same 3 outfits in a rotation because she doesn't want to deal with it. One of the smartest humans I've ever met, but I can't sit across from her. So that's the other extreme with a D. So got a picture of how to guess somebody's a high D? A little bit? Alright, how do we know a high I? What does that personality characteristic look like? A lot of bright colors. Very outgoing, I heard. What else about a high I?
My mom
Chatterbox,
wears,
center of attention.
my mom wears pumpkins the whole month of October.
Definitely a high I. Yep. What else?
Very social.
High I can be scattered. They're very social. High I is what we call the persuader, the life of the party, the center of attention. They are people to the core, and nothing makes an I happier than walking into a room full of strangers to meet 50 new friends. And their energy is added to by doing that. It increases. Do you know a high I? How many people are high I's? Usually a lot in this room. Okay? So, how do you guess that somebody's a high I by their communication? How do they talk? Fast? Loud a lot of times.
With their hands.
With their hands. I usually ask in the full class, what gestures do you get with a high I? And the answer is all of them. Right? All the time. What else do you see in the communication style of a high I? So D's tend to talk in bullet points. Your text messages, your emails, everything look like that. What does an I look like? How many words do you get in a high I text message?
2,500.
All of them. 2,500. And all the high D's are reading the first 3 words and checking out, right?
Or they send you 3 words at a time and you get 23 texts.
Yeah. They're the people who send you a text message that's so long that your phone has to break it into multiple texts to receive it. They like to talk. They like to connect. They're fundamentally interested in other people. So that's what you will see in the communication style. What does the clothing look like for a high I? Fun. Bright. Typically. Is it trendy? Usually. Could be scattered for sure. What else do you get in a high I outfit?
Seasonal.
Yeah, a lot of times seasonal things with holidays like John's mom. You get things that are a little edgier and a little more risky sometimes with an I too. You know, what am I wearing right now that's super high I? This and even what's in the sweater. What am I wearing that's a different letter? The pants, the black heels, and even the black and white as the remaining colors is the D part of me.
High I's don't wear socks.
High I's don't wear socks. Only Tracy
does.
You walked in at the perfect time. Or if a high I wears socks, they're like my husband, and they will be purple and pink and orange and crazy stuff because he's an I. So that's what you will see in an I's clothing. Got a little bit of a picture of how to know somebody's an I? Okay. Let's talk about our S personality profile. What does that one mean? Safe. They tend to be more quiet. What else about an S profile?
Aloof, no emotion.
They can appear aloof.
Yeah.
On the surface, they look aloof. They are not necessarily. Very much risk averse. You have a client who will never make a decision, can't pull the trigger, can't choose a house. It's because they're scared. They're probably an S. S's are driven by security, safety, certainty. They don't do well with change, generally. S's are also your people who are amazing team members, who will support you no matter what. That's what you will see in the behavior of an S. So let's talk about this one before we jump into the communication and the closed style for an S, because an S will trick you. Here's the thing, there's a before and an after version of a high S profile if they lead with S. What do I mean by that? I and S are your 2 people-oriented profiles, meaning that S is motivated by and driven by connections to other humans. Only in their case, it's a small group of humans. They don't want to go in that room full of 50 strangers. They want to go to dinner with their 5 best friends. And the connection is very deep and very real and very loyal with a high S. So what happens with an S is, before they trust you, or know anything about you, or feel like they're connected to you, that's when you get that aloof, reserved, I don't talk. They'll send you messages that look like a D because it's bullet points. You'll get 3 words. Hey, what do you think about this? No. They don't trust you yet. That's what that S is telling you. After you're into the inner circle, an S can look a lot like an I. Because they're still people persons. They still want to connect. And once they connect and decide that you matter to them, they'll talk your ear off. They just won't do it to anybody else. Now that doesn't necessarily change the communication style a ton. You will see some differences where they're more reserved and then more open, the before and after. The clothing is going to be the same, the general patterns are the same. It's important to talk about that because a lot of times we look at an S and go, oh no, that's a D or a C because they're all task oriented in business and they don't want to know me. It's not the case, it's they don't trust you yet. So how do you know you're dealing with an S? My immediate rule of thumb before you even talk about communication and clothing is if you're looking at somebody going, I have no idea. I don't know what your profile is. I can't figure you out. Assume you have an S to start with.
That's good.
S's are about 35% of the population of the United States. I's and S's are the 2 biggest groups. Assume you have an S until proven otherwise if you can't figure it out. So what does the communication style of an S look like before they trust you? Closed, quiet. What else? Will they answer a lot of your questions, or are you going to get yes, no answers?
Yes, no.
And maybe a slow answer.
Yeah, they tend to be more thoughtful and more methodical in responses to things, both before and after. What else?
Hey, I think that a lot of S's, they don't answer yes or no. They always need time to think about it.
They do, but at the beginning, if they don't trust you, they may tell you yes or no to make you shut up and go away.
That's what I mean by slow, they like.
Yeah.
There's no emotion, when an S doesn't know you, there's no emotion. It's like, you can say something, it's like, I'm sitting 2 feet from you, could you hear that?
Yeah. And they won't share themselves. They won't share themselves until they trust you. Here's the really cool part. Once an S trusts you, guess who's the biggest ambassador for your business?
Yeah, that is.
Because everyone they know, love, and trust, they're going to go tell them how amazing you are because they trust you. You got to do the work to win the trust of an S. It's totally worth it. All right, so the before communication pattern is going to be pretty reserved, fewer words, not a lot of information. They're tough to draw out before they trust you. What happens after you've spent enough time and shown them that they can trust you? What's that communication look like?
Like an I.
More like an I. They're going to know the names of your children, your next door neighbor. They're going to want to ask how school is going. They're going to want to do all of the connection things that you would get from a high I. And that's a good thing. When an S opens up to that level, it means you're in. It also means you better not screw up. Because if they kick you out, you're done forever. So what does clothing look like in a high S, do you think?
Very modest, like, reserved, plain.
Simple,
Simple.
modest, plain, appropriate to the occasion every single time.
Yeah.
If you're in an environment where business casual is expected, a man who is an S will show up in khaki slacks and a nice shirt. A woman will show up probably in maybe a nice skirt, ballet flats, stuff like that. They will always be appropriate to the occasion, and you can count on them for that. Is a high S's shirt always tucked in if it's appropriate?
Yes.
Are they wearing a belt that matches their shoes?
Yes.
Starting to get the picture? They will be right. They will be appropriate. Gotta guess how you can pick out an S? A little bit? Okay. I know we're doing this fast, but we've got a tight timeline today, and I want to be able to get you to some tools, and we'll email this document out to everybody too. So a high C, tell me about that personality profile. Who is that person?
Bean counter. Bean counter. Analytical.
Very analytical. Detail oriented, very concise, very precise. It's the engineer and accountant mindset.
Check the box.
Yep. Man, if you send a high C client a contract without a box check that should be, why is this not right? That's what happens. So they're driven by correctness and details. So given that, what do you think their communication style looks like? Can be fairly direct. They need a lot of reports and details and data. What I hear over here?
Info,
All information driven.
spreadsheets.
Lots of spreadsheets.
Appropriately punctuated.
Always appropriately punctuated. If it requires an Oxford comma, it will be there. I don't even remember what that is. I just know there is one.
Always on time.
Yeah, always on time. They will hit the schedule. They will hit the deadlines. This is who you want as a closing coordinator, by the way, when you use this for hiring. That's pretty critical with that person. So the communication is going to be very precise. It's usually got a lot of information in it. They prefer written communication to verbal because they can't go back and recheck what you said to them. How does a high C dress, do you think?
Everything
Tends
is
to be more
starched.
conservative. Everything is starched. High C's are the ones who make sure the dry cleaner puts the right crease in the pants because it matters.
And when they wear their clothes once, they give it to dry cleaning again.
They probably wear their clothes once and send it right to dry cleaning or wash it. Because that's what you're supposed to do. What else about a C's clothing? Do you get a lot of bright colors? Do you get a lot of trendy stuff?
We want everything organized.
Tends to be more classic, organized. Just like an S, the shirt will be tucked in if it's supposed to be. The belt and the shoes will match. See why S is a little tricky? You see some of both. C's will also be right for the occasion, but they are much more interested in correct. You will never see a high C with a hair out of place. Having lost an earring back midway through the day if it's a girl. Everything will be exactly what it should be with a C because that's the right way to go through it. So do you have a picture how to at least make a guess about all of these profiles if you're talking to somebody? Again, it's fast. This is meant to be an introduction to this, right? Here's the big question though that I hear from people all the time. Well, that's great. I can look at Alicia here and make a guess that she's got some high I and probably D in her, is my guess. So my guess is that's what she is. Now what do I do? What do you guys think? What can you do once you guess somebody's profile, right or wrong? Why does it matter? Nope, before we even do that, what do we have to figure out? If I guess Alicia is an ID, what do I need to do next?
How do we adapt to lives?
How you communicate with her.
Communicate and adjust.
Even more fundamental than that. You guys are right, I need to adjust my communication to meet what she needs. Should I perhaps validate that what I'm guessing is right?
Oh, yeah.
How do you do that? You can't give your clients a disc profile. If you're hiring somebody, you can. You've given yourself a disc profile, which means you can help on the lead generating path. How do you make a guess about a client's, or how do you validate a client's disc?
Ask them what's the best way they want you to communicate with them.
Do you hear that? It's one of my favorite questions. There's a couple of variations on this theme. What's important to you about whatever it is we're talking about? If you're selling a house, what's important to you about selling? Or buying? Or whatever else it is. How do you want me to communicate with you? What's most important? Do you want me to text you, call you, email you? What do you prefer? What are we after with questions like that? Their response is going to tell you if your guess about their profile is right. If you guess somebody's a high D and they say, oh no, I want you to call me every week to chit chat even if we don't have anything. Is that really a high D? No, you got it wrong. That's okay. Here's the cool part about this. Unless you're getting in somebody's face and going, I know you're a D, we're doing this, which none of us would do, I hope. What difference does it make if you were wrong? Yeah? So if I start talking to Alicia about how she wants me to communicate and what she needs from me, and her feedback tells me my guess was wrong, all it means is I'm going to do something different next. There's not really any downside to having it wrong, other than if you don't do anything about that. So we've made a guess about somebody's profile. We have asked a few questions to help us figure out if our guess was correct. Now what? Now we go back to what everybody was saying.
Mirror and match.
Mirror and match? What does that mean? It means if somebody's sitting across the table leaning back a little bit with their arms closed, if they haven't met you yet, they might be a high S. It means take the same posture. It means mimic the types of tones of voice, mimic the communication styles. It just puts you in their shoes. And it gives you a way to get more information. But here's what it comes down to. How do you think a high D needs you to communicate with them? What do they need from you as their agent?
To the point.
To the point, quick.
How do we win?
How do we win? Bottom line. High Ds don't care about anything else. They don't want to know to the half penny the price per square foot of the stupid house they're buying. They just want to know if it's a good price. They don't care about the rest. So what happens if you go to them, your high I self, and you want to hug them? Literally or metaphorically, does a high D respond to that? No, they think you're crazy and sloppy and need to go away. So the power in this thing is making a guess about a profile, validating that, and then changing how you're interacting. And I'm not suggesting, I want to be really, really clear, that you become somebody else, ever. I firmly believe you need to play to your strengths. This is about an awareness of what the person sitting across the table needs from you. So if your person is a high I and you're a DC, learn to hug, or they aren't going to connect with you. You only have to do it for that one client, for that moment. Learn.
D or C?
D or C. If you're a DC and your client is an I. I's are huggers. S's are after they know you. So it becomes about understanding what's important to that person in terms of the connection, which helps you change everybody's behavior. It's important to understand the communication style, because if you're giving D a whole bunch of fluff, they're going to check out on you and maybe fire you and hire the high D agent around the corner. A high S, if you haven't done the legwork to let them trust you and you're not communicating in a way they need where you're showing them security and safety, they're not ever going to trust you. So that's what it comes down to, is think about what is this person, what does this profile actually mean, and what do they need? I don't want to spend a whole lot more time on it, but this particular document is actually going to give you, for each of the profiles, what their key emotion is, what motivates them, the mantra that they will use, the fears that they have, and the keywords that are important to that profile. So all that means is, if you know that that high I profile is effusive and bubbly and flamboyant, and you come in talking like this all the time, is that I going to connect with you? No. That's the power of this thing. Whether you're interacting with a client to improve your conversion ratios, whether you're looking at somebody you're going to consider hiring based on the role, there's power in that. And then from a lead generation standpoint, it's as simple as knowing what your own profile is to figure out what are the activities that work for you. Calling that list of expireds, 200 people a day, is really good for high Ds. Not so great for high Is. And none of this, let me be very clear, and I'm going to leave you with this thought. None of this means you can't do something just because your profile is what it is. What do I mean by that? Everybody sitting in this room is an intelligent, capable adult, I'm assuming, or you wouldn't have gotten through your license course and shown up today. If you're an intelligent, capable adult, you can do all of these things. And I'm not telling you you can't. What I'm telling you is certain activities will add to your energy, and certain activities will depress your energy. So if you have the luxury to build a business any way you want, why wouldn't you build it based on the activities that add to your energy? So that high I needs to be doing lead generation models that involve a whole bunch of new people all the time. Networking and social events and client parties and festivals and all of those things. Where if a high C went to that, they would just sit back behind a table quietly. A high C is better off with a direct mail, with a calling campaign, with a very structured system. It's all about your energy. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that very clearly. I'm not telling you you can't do anything, you can. I believe that fundamentally. But why wouldn't you build a business that adds to your energy? Yeah? Alright, I threw a lot of stuff at you in the last 20 minutes. Is this helpful?
Yes.
Good. So if it is and you want to hear more, Thursday, April 27th, right here, 11 to 1, bring food. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to go a lot deeper with this stuff.
business,
Okay,
you know.
so out of the coaching program.
Yes.
So I have one person, I don't have permission to share names, so I'm just gonna share situations today.
Perfect.
So I have one person who came into this program, he's been at the office for a little while, super social guy, he's an ID personality profile. This man can go to the grocery store, talk to a brick wall, and come home with a lead. That's not his issue. His challenge is any sort of structure, any sort of process. Lakeisha's laughing because she knows who I'm talking about. So, structure is this person's issue. Follow through, accountability. And it took us a while to get him where he needed to be and be consistent in his activities. He won the listings contest for February. He took 4. This is a new agent. He couldn't get out of his own way 4 months ago.
How long has he been in the business?
In
How
the
long has he
business?
been in the business?
Not quite a year, right?
1 year.
Yeah, he's been close.
About a year?
Yeah,
And when did this person start coaching with you?
end of December.
And have they capped?
No, but he's gonna be one of the first ones in the program to cap.
Okay.
So we
How
have
many deals has this person closed before they started coaching?
like 2 or 3.
Okay.
And he's got 4 listings right now. He's got a couple of buyers he's working with, and I know that he's got a couple other listing leads on the table too.
Why does somebody need a coach?
It's about accountability. It's about a plan. It's tough to get out of bed, isn't it? You guys every morning and go, I'm gonna do this for myself. We all have that problem. I'd rather take a nap. It's about having somebody who helps you build the structure and then holds you accountable to achieving the things you said you were gonna do. That's the value of a coach. I have one too. I would die without it.
She doesn't know this, but I just read a book, Executive Toughness, and the guy says there's 3 points to being successful in life. The top 2 are accountability and a plan.
That's what coaching gives you. That's why it matters. And it's not a statement that you can't do it. From my perspective, the people who are in this coaching program are strong as can be. These guys are winners. They're all building successful businesses and they're all different, which is pretty cool to see.
You know what happens when you start reading books? You start realizing that they all say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's so true. I mean, without hesitation, you said accountability and plan. Just about every book says that. So why do people not do it then? That's what I don't understand.
Not choose coaching because there's an expense to it. It's one of the things we didn't talk about.
Okay.
Coaching doesn't come free. So Max Coaching, if you know anything about it, there's a big monthly expense related to it, and it caters to successful established agents who can afford that. We built this program on purpose to go from the back end. So in other words, I don't want a bunch of money from you up front. The program itself comes with a 10% commission split to your coach on every closing you do during the time that you're in the program. But if you aren't closing and making money, neither does your coach. Nobody's interested in diving into your wallet, but I do get a fair amount of pushback. People worried about the extra 10%, and I get it. When you're a new agent, you gotta put food on the table and a roof over your head. This is about launching you quickly to build a business so that 10% doesn't matter.
So I got one more question, and then I want to open it up to y'all for questions.
Yes.
While you get Stacy here. So I'm a new agent. I come on board. I owe you 10% of everything I close. Forever?
No, so this program, it's a 12-month commitment to the program with a really big asterisk. Once you cap, you have the option to step out of the program and quit paying the fees on any new business you develop after that point. Or, like my guy who won the listing contest in February is already telling me he's staying put for the full 12 months because he wants to build a sustainable capper business. He wants to be able to keep going. After 12 months, when you're a sustainable capper, it's time to go into max coaching.
What if I'm a capper already? Can you be my coach?
That's a really good question. So yes, for sure, because it's about sustainable cappers. The deal is if you've done less than $1 million in volume in the last 12 months before you come into the program, you're eligible for the program. In certain circumstances, as an agent I've had conversation with is capped in only 2 transactions, 3. And has no earthly idea where the next round of business is coming from. So the next cap is what we would look at in the coaching program. It's launch coaching so you have a sustainable, repeatable, consistent business. That's the goal.
What questions do y'all have? About this or about the program?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, everybody has a little bit of each on disc.
Mhm.
I've always had difficulty when I was sure you were a high D, and then I was like, well, wait a minute, she's more got, and I'm trying to mirror and match.
That's why you need to do those validation questions first to try to figure it out before you mirror and match. Cause otherwise, if you don't really know and you're mirror and matching something that turns out to be wrong, you're not really doing anybody any favors. Ask those questions to dive deeper and figure out whether your guess is correct.
But I can mirror and match anything. If Stacy's standing there, her arms are crossed, I can cross my arms and
Yeah.
build rapport, no matter what our behavioral styles are.
You haven't yet figured it out yet, you
Yeah.
just mirror
Yeah.
and match with,
Yeah, you certainly can do that. Yes, ma'am.
How often, is this coaching in a month? How often do you guys meet?
The individual sessions are once a week for 30 minutes. The first session is for an hour because there's more planning to do, and then there's 2 group sessions every month. And those are 2 hours each.
So once a month, 30 minutes, an hour,
No,
once a week. Once a week, 30 minutes, and then 2 group sessions,
Yeah.
an hour?
Those are 2 hours.
2 hours.
Each of those.
Is that over the phone or in person?
It's a mix of both, and as we're expanding the program, it's gonna be something you can negotiate individually with your coach, whether you wanna do them all face-to-face or by phone. Right now, the folks on my roster, 1 week is face-to-face and 1 week is by phone.
What's the best way to lead generate for a high S?
What do you guys think? You just learned about DISC. What's the best way to lead generate for a high S?
networking.
Who are the people you know and you're already connected to, and who do they know? It's Sphere.
I've always thought open houses for high S.
No, because you're putting them in a position to have to get to know and get in relationship with somebody they don't know yet. It's hard to talk to somebody new like that.
But what if I do all the research and I feel very comfortable, like I know this area, I know every house, I know all the details. And then
It's still
somebody-
about the people you don't know. It doesn't, again, it doesn't mean an S can't do it, but
So
it's
let's
not
say
the
an S
natural
is new to
wheelhouse.
Atlanta, what would you do?
Then I think you've got to look at charity activities they like, church they're a part of, schools they're, it's still network based for an S is the priority anyway.
Okay.
Again, if you have a system, I think for an S, open house works.
By the way, you may have mentioned this, 17 years of teaching this,
Me, closer to 20 now, I'm old.
20 years of teaching DISC. She I mean, she's the expert. I don't know if you said that or not, but that's
No, I didn't.
impressive. Yeah.
Didn't have enough time.
What else?
Can you be an I and an S?
Yeah, yeah. Most people are a mix
won't
of
make
a
it.
couple.
You won't make it. See me out the
You don't lie to yourself, accept your eyes.
Yeah, just looking at the way you're dressed and the way you talk.
I was
you're
so
definitely
Well, you
an
know,
S.
the way I've always viewed it is, like, you have a home country and a place you like to visit. So you lead with whatever your home country is, and there's usually something that's close to that. I may be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong with that.
No, that's accurate.
Very good. I love it.
Yeah, me and Cindy much
Stand.
Just because you're fun and all like.
Do you think there's a benefit to taking it more than once?
Yes, absolutely, because this is one of those to layer on, you'll learn new stuff each time. And we're gonna, as we get this up and consistent, I'll start doing kind of a more advanced version of it. I think we'll probably do a hiring specific version of it, all out.
Where do you meet 30 minutes a week?
That's your individual coaching session with your coach.
Yeah, so where do you meet? Anywhere?
It depends on you and coach. Sometimes they're by phone and sometimes they're in person. My group comes into my office.
Hey, thank you. Anything else? Okay, y'all are amazing. Thanks for being here. I hope this was helpful. Go sell condo. Oh, hey, real quick. No, real quick. I need another minute. Adriana West wants to share with you a testimonial. She's a commercial representative in our office, and she just paid somebody a pretty big referral for 10 minutes.
Okay, guys, yes, if you please pass these, I will appreciate it. Okay, I want to share with you a little bit about commercial real estate. A very efficient way to increase your GCI, now that we talked for the last 2 weeks about GCI. All it takes is adding one question to your lead generation you are already doing. I imagine that you all are already doing your lead generation. The question is, who do you know is looking for commercial properties to lease, buy, or sell? Let me give you an example of another agent here. I cannot give the name. She made a phone call and she spent less than 5 minutes on the phone explaining her client's needs. The next thing she knew was that she got a check. The return fees on her 5 minutes was about $350 per minute. So,
Wow.
I have here checks for you guys.
Yeah. I like that.
That's
With
more
your
than a math
name,
coach makes.
with
Candace.
your name.
Clever.
I would love you to feel the amount that you want to increase, the amount of what you are going to increase your GCI this year. Just making 1 or 2 or 3 phone calls. Please keep on in the front of you every time you're doing your lead generation. And remember the question. The simple question is, what do you want? Who do you know that needs commercial real estate? That's it. Your name is there, referral, how much do you wanna net?
I love
If you
it.
wanna ask any questions, please call me, contact me, I would love to help you.
Great job. Just another tool in your tool belt, you know? Now you're part of commercial, Academy Commercial. Great job. Thank you. I'll tell you, she's a
That's what it takes to get married. That's what they said.
which is very critical. But I don't mind that. I like her.
She does a great job because she's really responsive, so she's just have them working
Yeah.
anything you expect.
Say, hey, listen, I know you know John.
Yeah, you get married.
I know, that's it. I'll give you a chance to check in. Yeah, I wish you that.
I know, seriously.
That's awesome.